Let's do it. Thank you, Ozzy. And they say you're the devil worshiper. Hilarious. So let's start with Bitcoin and let's get there because it's really the big breakout happened and we're now in the midst of rocking that. Why is this so important, everyone? Because we're at the 5-0 and it's, this is the creature that we're dealing with. It is a bat, yes, but probably more important, it's a shark, as we've been talking about. And we got to 47K. Remember, we were saying, where will we be in a week? We're 48.5. Your 50% level is right there at 48 and change. Yep. Let me know if the sound's not there. Could be microphone too, but let me know. I can turn that up. That's probably better there. Thanks. So what's the big deal about this area? Because it's only a 50% level. There's so much here that we have to concern ourselves with, because what happens here, look, you want to jump on this now for an anticipation of a breakout. Not only just do we go to a 5618 retrace on here, but are we going to bust through this and do a straight shot move? Because you're going to get a whole bunch of insight onto how strong this is going to be, not only at 47, 48, 50, but at 55, 60, 65, because there's really nothing. There's no 51,000. There's 62,000. And so here's the range, and here's the 5-0. So there's the shark, and then the 5-0 comes down here where we look at really at the 50% level. I talked about this last week because of the reciprocal ABCD measurement. But on every 5-0, every one, we're always going to include the 618 retracement as the maximum tolerance. Yeah, that's right. We go from shark to 5-0. But recall, as I said last week, the 5-0 in this instance has a really small ABCD, reciprocal ABCD that we use for the estimate. And that was around 44 and change. So your zone is 44 to just a shy under 47. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, those are the right levels. What is it doing in that area? Some really nice candlestick work. Really nice. It's, hey, that's not a rising 3 methods. That's a rising 6 methods. That's, whatever that is, it's really strong, nice continuation. Again, you want to look for tonight. You get your close above 48,000, it's in the books. At a minimum, if you're in this 5-0 zone, which you are, and we can just pretty much shade it like this, where it is, yeah, like this. It's pretty much in this area. Right above that area, it's gone. And that is your top range 5-0 zone. That's the PRZ of the 5-0. Above here, and you get strong behavior above here, you just only have the 886 against the daily. So that's really where we're at. And again, I've been saying for the last 2 weeks that not only did we get some critical triggers, but this move would be strong and would be reactive in nature, and that's what exactly it has been. And now we're going to see if it does the blowout. If you're gonna act strong, which you got a few nice candles to set this up on, you easily are going to start getting acceleration out of this zone where, forget 618, let's go to 886. Let's just go straight to 886. That puts us back at 62,000. These are some minimum measurement considerations, and I want to kind of look at them really quick of ways to look at this for right now to assess, okay, I think we're pretty safe on going back to retest the all-time high. And why? Well, we saw those other metrics, but if we take it back to the weekly chart, remember the big patterns on Bitcoin. These are auto-generated for harmonic pattern collection. And I'm going to talk about the software here in a minute, but the auto-generated patterns are the true harmonic levels that kicked off this entire bull market. And I think many of you recall us doing major projections on this weekly scale, harmonic ratio frameworks projections, essentially 314. That was around, 56.5, 57 almost, with the maximum high end of a 3618, which ended up being essentially the top. 314, a great minimum extreme metric. We utilize the 2618 up to a 3618, but once you get to a 314 extension, boy, you start looking. And the 3618 usually catches that overspill. That's exactly what we had here. And for most of you that know the type 1, type 2 methodology, the reaction, okay, and then the reversal that happens on the retest, that's a minimum framework. That's how I would look at every metric. Of course, it's not going to work out in this instance in every situation, but that's how I look at these major measures in every situation and to get the minimums. And I think we're in that. We're on that way. We're doing what we call a type 2 return trade, where we return and go back and retest the last major harmonic levels that were clearly the maximum level was the 3618, defined by that weekly extension measured off of the last couple of patterns. It's actually even more important, this 3618 up here, that we have a couple of patterns preceding it, that we know we are going from harmonic to harmonic level. And that 3618, again, that's up around 64, 65,000. That's what we're going to go retest. I think we're going to do some kind of shark here or whatever. These are minimum levels. You go back relative to that weekly level, then let's just say, all right, we're already showing really clear signs. Look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart is super strong. Week over week, continuing higher. It's nice that it's hasn't even accelerated yet, but let's just be as conservative as possible. Bitcoin gets you back to 62,200, maybe as high as 67,000. You're at 48.7 right now. That's a nice gap to shoot. And Bitcoin too. You're not going to have maybe as crazy the volatility as some of the other S coins, but that's a nice gap to shoot from harmonic. The way that we look at that from kind of the entire harmonic framework, that gives us a really nice indication that once we break out and close above that, we're going to, again, shoot that gap of 14 to 16,000 bucks up to the 886. And that would complete that whole scenario. You would get the 2 of 2 retest, and I want to be riding this up to here. Okay, we'll make the assessment as we hit the 886, because if it's really going to go, it'll blast on through. I want to just target 886 first and see how it is when we get up there. Again, so we'll have that 886 retest, but what are some of the good case scenarios that are showing us that more is possible? So let's go back to probably one of the better ones since last week, which is Solana. And where we were a week ago, coming back after, I think I mentioned this the bat formation. It's probably better on a daily. Yeah, that was that bat. And then we traced out, I think we were looking at this as an 886 minimum retest, which it was. Go down to there and said, let's see what this does when it gets to the 886. It blasts on through. So 886 is about there. And just straight on through. And Solana is going to do a 1618 minimum. That turns into a crab pattern. That puts you 85, 84 and change. And also remember, with the crab pattern, it can overshoot. The number we like to use on that is the 1902. And that 1902, that's a little complementary number. Target that as high as 95. So that's the levels we're shooting for this formation. Hey, that's cool. So I'm not going to start with the comments. But welcome. Hope you can learn. I really do. Just if they don't make sense to you, I hope you can go Harmonic Trader and you can learn. Really, because we're making bank. So I just, that's what we do. Check out all the presentations we did last week, and I'm going to show you guys some opportunities for this week. But Solana's still going. How do I capture something like this? You break it down to a 5-minute chart and look for retracement entries. Here's a real nice one that just materialized in the last 24, 48 hours. Solana, we know it's been hot. So let it do its consolidation move and just target these bullish patterns. You know, here's a Gartley that just completed yesterday, or actually, yeah, yesterday at 71 for a nice 10% pop. Again, the 5-minute chart has been really nice to give you entries time and time again. And even after the surge from earlier in the week, you come back, you do a bat pattern that gives you support at 70. These are sizable moves. These are really great moves. Yeah, that is, there's a comment in the chat about the hop level. Hop level is the harmonic optimal price. We use that as kind of the overspill zone. And that's certainly something we're seeing a lot of in these more in intraday timeframes. The other thing is that we're just targeting HSI arrows. So if you get the terminal bar sun icon, and we're working with harmonic pattern collection for trading view, what we're looking for is a defined sequence of signals. Yes, we still want to know the patterns. We still want to understand the levels. My goal with the software, though, is to convert all of that into definitive, actionable levels that is automated. And this has terminal bar, and then bang, you have 1, 2 HSI signals, type 1, type 2. I mean, it just has been over and over again. Look at that one, Solana. It's come up quite a bit, but again, we're targeting this in an acceleration move to go as high as 90 bucks. The other one that is I featured last week that probably will be playing catch up with that is Polkadot. And look at this already coming off the low. That's probably where we'll be next week. I'm going to target Polkadot. I think I mentioned this before, that this is taking on the formation of a shark pretty clearly, and you're in the midst of what I call a harmonic impulse wave. So you have a hard down. You form an initial low, come up, you go to basically the 113, you take out the prior low, and now you pop up. This is a big reflex rally that turns into minimum 1618, but as high as the 886. So I'm targeting DOT for 46, folks. I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not saying next week, but within this run, and what I do think we are in this run now that will take us well into the fall, that these are minimum measurements where there's still a whole lot of development that has to occur for you to get there, and there's still opportunity. Even on something like that, again, go to a 5 minute, wait for the pullbacks. You'll get, $2, $3. There's a prime example. 2 days ago, a really nice little bat pattern at 23 that triggered the whole move. And this was at the completion of yet another pattern. I mean, these are all auto-generated that I'm doing, folks. And what I've been doing with a lot of the crypto pairs is if I can identify the longer term time frames that are going up to larger objectives, then I can break it down to 5 minute or 30 minute time frames, look for these kind of patterns, retracement patterns, consolidation, especially after the first test or second test, and they're acting as triggers. As a question, sometimes the chart doesn't always line up to the pattern. And again, I think there's a lot of valid questions of why wouldn't I pull it off of certain highs and lows? And like here in this Polkadot 5 minute from yesterday, we had a nice bullish bat pattern. And it's important to understand we also look at these patterns a specific way where the larger opportunity is not coming until after a consolidation period. We look for the reaction. Most of the folks know this, but I will review. That's toward target 1, and then we come back down for the retest, and that sets us up for reversal conditions where we can expect a larger move. And when we get stuff like this back-to-back patterns, and here we are down at some hop levels with HSI, I mean, that's the kind of thing you want to be positioning yourself for larger moves. There's something I'm looking at right now that already did a big move. Looks like it's ready to go again, is this Luna. Here on a 5 minute. There you go. Same kind of a situation. This is Luna. You got a couple small bearish patterns here. So maybe we come back down about 29, 28.80. But that's the same kind of situation as these others. And look at this thing. Luna has already done a huge move. Massive. You would say, all right, there's no opportunity. I'm saying, look at these smaller patterns. Okay. Manage these as short-term reactions. And then if these things take off on you, then you're dealing with a major trend continuation. It is one way that I'm looking for these larger moves. Or if you're halfway in the middle of a move, give me a pullback in the middle of that move so we can get the next leg. Still want to look at it type 1, type 2. I would still expect, like if I'm looking at a big pattern, I would still expect a reaction and then a retest. It takes time. If you're new to this stuff, folks, you just have to spend time looking at the charts, follow the framework that I spell out of not only the pattern types, but the type 1, type 2 reaction reversal moves, because there's phenomenal opportunities. If you want to trade actively crypto, these type 1 opportunities are just repeat over and over again. And you automatically, what you look for in Harmonic Pattern Collection software, the way that I've designed it, is you look for this simple sun icon, because that's the starting point for your trade opportunity. And then we break it down and look for confirmation at these levels. But our job is to respond off of these auto-generated levels, recognize it's the first time or is it the second time, because that'll give us the idea of what the potential is, and then manage aggressively. If it's the first time, you're pretty much securing at the first target. Line it up. All right, I'll look at a few. You guys want to throw some out? Sushi does look good. I've been looking at that one actually. And a few of those kind of swap. Here's Sushi swap on a 5. Let's go to the 4 hour. Well, I know Sushi Swap has popped a little bit. I'll go to that in a second. But again, here's another 5-minute time frame. Nice pattern setting up off of after a nice extended run, consolidating, pausing. Looks like it'll come back to this hop at about 1350 and then go, because look what's happened in the last week. That's already moved quite a bit. One of the benefits of the program as well that I find helpful and for catching these crypto that continue to move is to line up harmonic strength index. So that has been really helpful. Look, these are hourly signals. All right, great areas of continuation there and there. Harmonic strength index is our proprietary harmonic indicator. With crypto, I feel like it's been working better than even the futures and stocks. So Sushi's looking good. And again, around that 1350, you have multiple time frames of a 5-minute and an hourly where that could continue. And again, these are all doing the same thing on the daily chart. They have all completed the pullback, which I talked about last week was either an all-time 618 or an all-time 886. This is basically a 618. And we're looking for 618 on the return move for Sushi up to about 17. But most likely, this is another one that does an 886 just simply on momentum. And that's up 21 bucks. Let me do Doge. Doge is pumping, ready. Okay, there's your daily chart on Doge. I know we've got, let me show let's get to the 4-hour. Because we came off of this 4-hour crab pattern that I talked about. I thought that would go to 10 cents. It went to 17 and really held firm. So now we have a couple of crab, little 1618 structures, a lot of resistance at the 32 level. Okay, let's really look at the zone though, because it has gone sideways. And then we see a green arrow. That green arrow, that's HSI. At a minimum, the way that we look at that is we will take it to the next level. We're at an overbought again on Doge. So probably continued to just grind higher between 32, 35. I do think we'll get as high as 37, 38. And Doge is, it's been holding up. I just think it's not going to move as nicely as something like Cardano. And Cardano, it's been a nice one. Really caught up in the last month after, there you go. Take a look at that. The only thing I want to see on Cardano, and this is a really critical market for the rest of them, is absolute continuation. This should be a breakout that should continue. Important thing by tonight. And tonight is critical. We need to see strong closes across the board. Yeah. I've really been impressed the last few weeks with the crypto space. And I feel like if we just jump over to total market cap and look at that for a second as well on crypto, because it could be right now the trade with all of the turmoil. Markets are not doing a lot. And I'm not really crazy on NASDAQ. Someone's asking me, what do I think about NASDAQ? I really don't like it. And I don't care like how much money they throw at it. I think you're at the limit. But total market crypto cap here still is showing us a lot of things that, tough to see, but On the daily formation, okay, we hit some overbought readings, but they're all just consolidations. This is actually really strong what it just did. From a relative strength perspective, you have a complex structure. This is that M formation up here. It came out, but what happened? It went back in the zone. And that's very strong behavior. You would want to see this thing continue that acceleration and do an expansion day over day. This weekend into Monday, we should be considerably higher, where much like the rest of these, we're marching to the 886. And it does a shark. It's kind of ugly. It's not really the prettiest of shark formations, but it's like that. And it gets you up to about 2.5 trillion. Yeah, 2.4. Take a look at where we are also. The fact with HSI and our last HSI that generated a week ago did give us a pause, sideways pause. But again, we're about to violate this breakout, much like we did back here. And that's something with HSI is important to note, that we're usually utilizing that with patterns. It's effective on its own, but I usually use it with just the pattern zones. It's great because at least we can anticipate some kind of consolidation with it. But it simply is, it's better with patterns, and the major numbers are higher. Couple more. Matic, sure, that was one from last week. And that's up. Couple of the ones did pop. Matic popped. And this was a one of the 618 ones. That's just really nice. It's just a really nice continuation. 4-hour chart was like, there was a crab or something down there? I have to look. Hourly? Well, recently, and I did remember I posted a couple charts. Last week I posted this at 105, and then there was this other one right here at 132. And notice Matic, like a lot of these, are stair-stepping with their patterns. So you get a thrust up, and sometimes you get a bearish pattern like you did there. And then it forms a bullish pattern. Look at these, back to back to back, but still up. So that's how we know bearish patterns are just reactions. And keep playing the bullish trend. I mean, here's another bearish pattern. Maybe Matic comes back to 132, maybe 124 at the lowest, but I would be looking for major trend continuation off of this retest. And then you go. And because your daily time frame and weekly time frames, like the rest of them, are continue to point up to giving you sharks. And I talked about this, I think, in the shark presentation, of these impulse waves, and a lot of stuff like this. You're seeing that last little ditch down from a few weeks ago sets up the 1618 886 thing. And that's where these are going. That's where these are going, because it's once you set them in motion in a lot of markets, a lot of patterns, especially the framework with the type 1 and type 2, the way that comes together, you can't, you just can't, it just kind of is like a magnet effect. It takes time, but it's like a magnet. Okay, something about the stop loss within the framework. Okay, how do we place stop losses? There's a question. And I think the best way to answer that is to always say you're comparing what you want with your confirmation variable. So if you're looking at a defined pattern level and you have confirmation, there isn't a heck of a lot of room that you really should be allowing for that to be exceeded. Take a look at some of the videos I have on the type 1 and type 2 strategies of patterns, but look at some of these 5-minute structures in Bitcoin just in the last, I don't know, 24, 48 hours. If we look at the ones that have confirmation, and we're looking, the software does this, we're looking for terminal bar as defined by that circle, and then a green arrow. And those are the two signals that are the real actionable triggers that we use that say, okay, not only is this a harmonic pattern, but we can bank on those levels doing the 1-2 retest and manage it accordingly. So we're looking for confirmation here at the XA. We still understand that that's the reaction. The reversal is the typical, and in fact, that leads to our larger returns. Some people are just waiting for that and favor that because we go for a minimum of target 2, and what's been happening is when it's really strong, it blows right through. The stop loss in these, if your level is defined and you have the confirmation, is literally the prior bar or 2. And some of that, you can make that assessment based on, okay, risk reward. I know it once it confirms and sets up, I shouldn't see this violate the prior low. Also, take a look at that relative to the target. If I'm down here looking for the retest at 46.7 for a move, and it's just a simple day trade, but a move up to 47,000, you're only talking a few $100s in that move. You have to assess your stop loss of relative to that profit amount. So you're not risking more than a few $100. I mean, 1-to-1 scenario is not very good. That's not what you want. So again, it depends on your confirmation. But once you have the confirmation, you don't give it room. Well, I'm not putting my stop loss under, say, the hop level. I'm putting my stop loss under that terminal bar or where the confirmation occurs. Let me show you one other example that explains it. Where's that 5-minute one? There it is. That doesn't have confirmation there, not after the terminal bar, but that's an explosive type 1. The type 1s that do really move, they just explode. And that's a matter of management. But this one, okay, this bat pattern has all the elements that we see, and it seems even a bit sloppy. But you get that real quick reaction, and then it comes back for the retest. Again, that's where we're trying to locate our trades for the larger move. But understanding that that dynamic occurs, what it does is that it helps people understand that once the pattern completes, there's plenty of time to execute for the larger move. And what I find a lot of people doing is they're kind of following the pattern down as it's completing, and then they're so amped on executing, they're going to jump right in. And you have to wait for the close of the bar that hits the zone. A quick question on Matic. If the pattern is not formed, how should you put a stop? If you have a target of 243, you shouldn't. That's why I'm saying we wait for the pattern to be generated, terminal bar to be signaled. Am I on the wrong screen? Let me check. I'm on the wrong screen. Dang it. It's like this. Let me get the other one. Sorry, I meant to jump to the 5-minute. It's like this. Go to the Matic here. All right, here, Matic right now on a 5-minute. Perfect. Sorry, I was ranting on the other screen. But here's a great one. Here's Matic. We've been looking for pullbacks. Now, this one, the 5-minute time frame just triggered because there's your signal. There's the terminal bar. We call it the sun icon. And it's right there. But I'm not going to be surprised, maybe in an hour, maybe later this afternoon. Let this thing come back, do the retest. Ideally, it might even require something more like this. We go up to target 1, and then we come back down. All right, so we have plenty of time on this. And that's the sequence I would look for on every one. All right, so the 1, 2, we're in a reaction. All right, you didn't miss anything. In fact, I'm favoring this more down to the hop level after we hit target 1. If I'm looking for that bigger move where we go from, say, just a day trade, but 150, 151 up to, say, 155 with anticipating that this continues much higher, that's the kind of strategy we're looking for. But you got to let it do its consolidation first. Yeah, get the nice check back. And then tell me what's going on in that area. That's the other thing. We look at amplified RSI. Look, we've got green lines turned on. So setting up a little bullish divergence, even on the 5-minute. That's how we look at it. Like pattern turns on like a light switch. Then tell me what's going on. Look for your trigger. Look for extreme indicator reversal, confirmation, all of that. Here's that Luna, folks. Already starting to move. And it's on a Gartley. Now, this is a great little one because we identified, did they already jump? Well, what was that on the 1 minute? No, but look at the 5-minute here on Luna. Oh yeah, it was this bat. Look. Came back. It's doing the type 2 on the bat. And now it has a Gartley. So this has got a couple things working for it. There's type 1 on Luna. And then comes all the way back down. And it looks kind of crazy. I mean, the beautiful thing about harmonic patterns, especially the first time you get it, if you don't know it, but you hit the zone real nice, is that you execute and it just goes. And you think it's going to go like this. And that's what a lot of people tell me, especially like their first winning trade. And what happens is that they get caught on many trades where they execute at the right spot, they ride it to target 1, 2, and don't do their management properly, and it comes right back down. And usually goes below the prior low. In this case, goes to the hop. Went back to the hop. Look, perfect trigger. And it's at that point, this is the type 2, where we're looking for the move all the way back to target 2. And in doing so, all right, we've got a crab up here. But it just takes a little practice to really start to pull that together. But understand, your best pattern opportunities are going to come well after a pattern completes. A lot of people are asking me, well, sometimes the trading view does not show me the patterns as they're developing. I agree, it should do it more, but it's a limitation of the script. We're able to illustrate as much as we can with this script. Some of the potential logic that's involved really won't be illustrated until a couple bars before, but the best opportunities are coming clearly after. There's things like that where if I can keep sharing that stuff with you folks, it's going to make the learning curve a lot easier, and then you guys build a lot of confidence in the levels of the framework. One or two more that cryptosphere that I wanted to pop up was XRP. Really moved a lot, and this is, I think, probably poster child for if the stronger scenario is taking shape. That we said this a while ago, that we're looking for full 886 retest on this, and I still feel like that's happening. I think if they come out with an announcement on a case or a settlement or something, you're going to see just that super quick jump. And with this last little ditch, retracement, you've already set up for perfect bat pattern, W formation that gets you to 295, 296. So I would be targeting this. I mean, if you're an American, you can't really get it unless you go through a VPN and do all that. I know that. That's a shame. I used to own a lot of XRP. But look, again, go to your 5-minute time frame and let them do these bearish patterns. Maybe you get like a little ABCD like that is, but look for the reactions and then continuation. It just you're trading 124 at the moment. I think it could go as high as $3, but it will continue to stair step for a while until we get through this. What is the hop? Again, thanks for coming. Harmonic optimal price. And I'm about to tell everybody where to go to get this because I'm opening up, explain it to everybody how to get access to the program. And so you can learn, and all the resources are there, webinars, everything. I think everything I do now is about the software to replicate the results. And those that are working with it, big shout out in the chat because I know a lot of you folks are into exactly what I'm saying, and what we have done this year alone is absolutely, bar none unprecedented from anything else I've done harmonic pattern wise and replicated. I've never seen more people replicating results on the level that we're doing. Here's XLM. And this is the other one this is an hourly chart. We've got a little bearish pattern here. I'm not concerned about these bearish patterns. I would just look for them to do reactions. Certainly respect them. Let them do their reaction, and then we're just going to anticipate these things to just continue. Is there a crab completion on BTC 4-hour? No. The BTC situation is all about the daily 5-0. And I posted this a few days ago. We had an ABCD pattern. There's a Gartley here that preceded this big move. And I'll show you where to access all of that in a second. But you have to understand the 44,000 level, remarkable support. We're formed some bullish patterns in this larger zone. The 4-hour time frame is this. And it's just another pause. You have an ABCD up here. This is an auto-generated ABC. It's not anything I'm terribly concerned about other than something that's auto-generated by my software. I'll respect it, but it looks like it's going to fail, or it may be pause here and then fail. There is no bearish crab here. What we're really dealing with is the daily charts that are still, those levels are dominating all time frames and all markets, all crypto markets. Look at last week's presentation because we really categorized the different pairs well in terms of how much they corrected from this summer. Some, as I said before, some did 5618 retracements. A lot did 886s. Those that only did, say, a 618 retracement will likely go to new highs. But they've all done this kind of a thing. They give you sharks that are pointing to 886s, 1618s, where this move, that's the other thing, is this move off the low is going to be extremely reactive. That's great for us S-coin traders. That's great for all crypto traders because we're going to see strong action based on the character of the structure. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing so far. We want to see this thing continue through the weekend, and even some of the complex readings, the indicator stuff that I'm seeing is just consolidation, pause behavior until we go higher. I mean, great stuff, folks. It couldn't, quite frankly, from a month ago to now, yeah, I'm surprised. It looked like this thing was just going to get dragged into the dirt for 6 more months. But these were the triggers we got at the end of August, was for me personally, and I again look at those sessions, especially the end of July, these HSI arrows and a couple of the things that we did register for me once we started breaking out was the trigger signal for that. So I think it's important to review a lot of the things we covered in recent weeks, because some of the markets still haven't made it there yet. They're still playing catch up, so there's plenty of time. Things like KNC and Chili's and Doge and Matic and a lot of those S coins are doing great. And then I didn't even talk about Ethereum. I didn't even talk about Ethereum, which again I think last week I killed it with just being demonstrative, that saying this is going to 4,000. I think it could go really soon once we clear above this recent pause. And this too is another shark. So let's finish it up like this. All right. And just take a look at Ethereum like that. And go to your 886. Ethereum is 4,080. No, these are all shark patterns. These are not crab patterns. These are all shark patterns. A lot of them were 5.0 conditions that are violating. And now what we're looking for are 886 retests. That, again, every time we get a pullback, if we get an hourly, we want to look to take advantage of those hourly patterns, 30-minute patterns, certainly at least a 5-minute pattern. So here's what I want really to help everybody out, to be able to take advantage of what's going on, for me to make it easy for everybody to really get in on what's happening. Go to harmonictrader.com, and if you haven't signed up, go to basic members page. So here's basic members page. Now, this is the best way for everyone to get started. And this is the thing I want to highlight today. I'm giving everybody opportunity to get the TradingView program, Harmonic Pattern Collection, by simply registering for a basic membership and then send your username to our support email. Okay? Then go through the webinars. Go through the basic course for basic patterns and download the books. I think the one book that everyone really should be looking at is the Volume 2 book, because that explains a lot of the confirmation strategies and how to interpret those readings at pattern completions that give you the insight to understand if it's reaction or reversal. A lot of it is called RSI BAM, where we utilize RSI for confirmation and to look for where patterns complete relative to that, because we can understand where the larger trades sit. Take a look at that. Look at those books, look at the webinars, and then connect with me on social media. I think Twitter and our Facebook group are the two best places. Do all of that. Spend a couple of weeks. We're giving a couple of weeks with both. You can get both the HPC Lite and the HPC Pro for the main platforms: MetaTrader, eSignal, Ninja, Sierra. Take the free 2 weeks. Everything's here. And then subscribe. It makes my life a lot easier. A lot of people expressed in this webinar that they were new to harmonic patterns. I want to welcome you and just tell you the realities that you need to do the work. You need to understand what the strategies are. But if you put it together, all the other people that have done can attest to the accuracy, the success, and everything that we have done. There's a lot going on. We're rolling out even things to make it easier. And again, that's the momentum I want to build on for all traders. The key is the software. So sign up, and TradingView might be the easiest way for everyone to start because it's so easy to get it on your platform. Hey, Youssef, how are you? Dollar index. Look, dollar index is a sell, and I don't, I don't want to get into it today. We'll talk about it Monday in Gold Members session, but I will show this that there's where'd you go? Let me see here. Stuff like dollar yen already showing a lot of bearish patterns on the daily and weekly charts. Here's dollar yen, big resistance up here at 111. So it absolutely, we're looking at these cycles and we're looking for dollar just to kind of start to roll over again. I'm not really too concerned with it. Where's dollar index? I do want to pop that up because I was looking at that earlier today. And DXY, right? There it is. There's DXY on the weekly. Yeah, weekly HSI. And I have a couple of other patterns down here that are that just completely hitting the numbers. There's a crab pattern, I think, on the 60-minute. Let me see if I can find it. The CFT on the, yeah, here you go. Let's go here on the CFD. Yeah, here you go. There's this, we're at the big hop level. Here you go on, this is DXY, folks. We're at the hop level at 93.43 with HSI. And gold's a buy too. That's, that absolutely, I will talk about that next week because I did mention that gold completed. It might need a few more weeks, but gold's in the perfect retest situation as well. So a lot here. Again, thanks everybody for showing up. We'll be back next Friday. If you do, again, have any questions, the place to go is back to Harmonic Trader. And just start with the basic members. This is for the newer people. And I think the thing I'm going to start doing is introducing, we've got a whole bunch of people that want to be harmonic pattern educators, the basic stuff. Of course, I'm going to recommend Mitch Ray. Go see Mitch Ray every night over at Mitch Ray TA because he probably does the best technical analysis show daily on the web, and he'll teach you stuff like that. And then other harmonic pattern educators that are coming together now can teach you the basics, but just hit register now and then sign up, and everything you need is there. The cost of the indicator is free for the first few weeks. And then whatever works for you, check out the packages. But I just keep it free because I don't want anybody paying for anything until you know what you're doing and you access it free. Because once you see what's going on and what we're doing here, then you understand you're an educated consumer of what this is all about. And then you're not going to do a chargeback in 3 weeks because, oh, it doesn't work for me. You see it working first. You start having it work for you first, and then tell me what you need to get set up and get going. Everybody knows I'm a pretty flexible guy. I'm doing this for a larger purpose. Well, I wish everybody the best. Have a great weekend. Everyone hang in there. We're going to get through this all. Have a good one. We'll see you next Friday, folks. Take care and go get them.